Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Playing World of Tanks. I'm AJ, and today we'll be looking at a game that I had in my IS3, which is the Russian Tier 8 Heavy Tank. Now the map we are playing on is called the Tundra, and generally on this map I will take almost any tank towards the 09 line, because the hill that exists on that line gives you a commanding point of view of both of the cap circles, and hence becomes relatively easy to stop a push from any of the two sides. So in the IS3, it's extremely overpowered tank for its tier. It's not unpenetrable, which is something you have to keep in mind. It is in this game especially, I make it look relatively easy, how you can just farm damage if you know what you're doing. But I got extremely lucky that the players on the enemy team either didn't fully commit to putting shots into me, or they just half-heartedly shot whatever they looked at. So our first victim is the FCM. I shoot in between the rocks. I know my frontal armor is good to bounce 200 plus millimeter shots, and so the Tiger one is not as dangerous as it once was, although if he aims for my lower plate it would be relatively easy to do damage. Next shot, I auto aim on the Tiger one, just go around the corner and hit him in the face. Then I come back through the two rocks and put another shot into him. The Tiger tries to put one back into me, but it is bounced by my side armor relatively easily. Now the Tiger gets taken out, and I reduce the FCM to one shot of damage, which our team picks up. And now we have cleared the two heavy tanks that were pushing into the middle, though the LTTB on the hill is proving to be quite an irritant to my team, so I'm just gonna go and try to eliminate him. The LTTB on the enemy team actually sees me coming and then just YOLOs through the middle of my team, killing two tanks in the process and somehow surviving, but not before he takes an additional shot, leaving. Now the only thing left on this flank is an SU-100Y, a Lurve, a T-34, and a Pershing. I generally put my first shot in the SU-100Y because he's the easiest target to put a shot into. Next I have to deal with the T-34. Now the T-34 could have made this relatively difficult for me. I could have had to trade shots with him, but he moves forward trying to put a shot into me, and I just hit him in his lower plate and back off. Now I know I can out reload a T-34, so I just put another shot into him, and I'm side scraping in the process, just in case the T-34 decides to get brave and shoot me. Now the T-34 commits all the way to shoot at me. At this point I should have just face hugged him, but he misses his shot anyways, so that leaves my tank relatively unscathed. And now since he is fired, I know I have the reload on him, and before he can run away I finish him off, and that leaves only 3 tanks on this flank. Now I'm not necessarily done taking out tanks. I move forward, and certainly the 2 enemy tanks that hadn't been spotted earlier suddenly come into view. I try to fire at the Pershing and it just misses his cupola. By the way, I actually ran out of regular rounds. I'm firing APCR at this moment, though I don't think any of the shots that I took actually makes a difference of what I was firing. So at this point I'm trying to put a shot in the Pershing, and the Pershing retaliates with his shot of his own, but since I do way higher for damage than him, he had to actually come over and put another shot into me. At this point the enemies could have swarmed and just killed me, just because if you look behind me, this is something I actually didn't notice until like right now, is that the 2 tanks that were behind me are actually on top of the cliff firing at things. I decide to take a shot from the Pershing and take out the SU-100Y, reducing one more gun in the game, and then use the dead T-34 as sort of like cover for my frontal plate. I put another shot in the Pershing side, reducing him to 1 shot of damage, and at this point it's just a matter of just finishing him off. Pershing tries to retreat, still firing, but he's kind of no match at this point. Now the Lurway is the only tank that remains, and I'll manage to put one shot into him, bringing my grand total of damage to roughly 5.5k damage. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe and stick around for the post game results, and I'll see you on the next episode of Playing World of Tanks.